Hi, this is Shotgun Tom Kelly, and now that I have your attention, you wanted to be close to him in the dugout during his impressive 15-year Major League career because he was always watching, listening, and looking for an edge. Now, Kurt Bavacqua brings that edge to Dirty Kurt's Dugout, where you can listen, watch, and be a part of the most honest, informative baseball show available today. Now, here's Kurt.
Yeah, I was always watching players like my guest today, who I'm going to introduce you to in a minute. He's already on it. I hate making my guests wait when they come on early because they're on top of it. And of course, Tony Perez has always been on top of it. I'm so excited about not only talking to Tony, because even though we've talked on the telephone a couple of times, I haven't seen him in so long. And I got to get down to Miami and say hi to Tony because I love this guy. We're going to get to him in a minute. A shout out to Hacienda Casablanca, 700 North Johnson and El Cajon for the continued sponsorship. And do not forget, you know what? I might as well tell you right now. I'm going to be out at Hacienda Casablanca on Thursday evening, introducing Laguna and Viva Santana. Tony knows I have a Cuban background and Puerto Rican background. So we're going to be going out there for Cinco de Mayo on Thursday evening. Come on out and join me. We're going to have a lot of fun out there. There'll be an outside bar, of course, all the good food that Cindy and Tony serve out there. The Corona girls will be there. That's not the reason I'm going. And how about a chance to win a beach cruiser? There it is, on cue. So we'll see y'all. I'll remind you again before the show's over. And I can't neglect our good friend Tom Drake at Balboa Chevron on the corner of Balboa and Genesee. You know what, Joe? I didn't talk to you about this. We're going to give this away today, or we're going to try to give it away today with a trivia question from the last show. So I was planning on telling you what was going on in Major League Baseball today, but I'm not going to let him wait any longer. This guy, Doggy, if he refers to me as dirty and I call him Doggy through this interview the whole time, just let it be, because we've known each other for an awful long time. Of course, the Reds, the Expos, the Philly, and 3 years in Boston, which I could never figure out. He was a special assistant to the general manager. You know what? He was a field manager. There's a lot of people that don't even know it. I don't know why. He was kind of hiding in the dugout. He started working for the Marlins back in 1993 after he managed the Reds that year. He's a 7-time All-Star, 3-time world champion. He's in the Reds Hall of Fame. He's in Cooperstown in the Baseball Hall of Fame, inducted in 2000. My good friend, and I'm sure a lot of you out there are excited to meet and talk to Tony Perez. Tony, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing fine, Kurt. I don't want to call you dirty.
You can call me dirty.
No, you, Kurt. No. I mean.
Do you know the name of this show, Tony, is Dirty Kurt's Dugout?
Oh yeah. Okay.
You are in Dirty Kurt's Dugout right now.
It's no problem. I will call you whatever I want. Okay. I'm doing fine. I'm very happy to be talking to you. Like you said, it's a long time we didn't see each other, and really, it's a pleasure to see you.
You look fantastic. How's our girl Patuca?
Pituca is fine. She's fine. She just had 2 surgeries, a knee replacement, but she's fine, and she's working all right, and really, she feels great.
That's awesome. If you're wondering who we're talking about, Patuca is Tony's wife of
Right.
a few years now.
Yep.
Patuca is from Puerto Rico, right?
No, she's from Cuba, like me. But we met
But
in
she
Puerto
moved.
Rico.
Did she
We
move
met we
with her
met in
parents
Puerto
to Puerto
Rico when I
Rico?
went to there to play winter ball, and she come out of Cuba, and I live in Puerto Rico, and we met there, and we married in Puerto Rico, and we still have a place there. But I go very often.
You don't live in the same condo that we lived in together, do you?
Right? Yes, sir.
Really?
You remember, didn't you? Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
same
I
building.
should have kept that condo. That would have been great. That's where I watched the boys, of course, Eduardo
Yeah.
and Victor, your sons.
Yes.
Eduardo is doing a lot of work. We see him on TV almost every week working for ESPN, doing a
Right.
great job. Played in the major leagues for quite a few years. I remember when those kids were running around the lobby of the condo down there, right in Isla Verde, and
Isla Verde.
you still have your place there.
Oh yeah.
Well, you also have some ties here in San Diego, because
Well,
in
yes.
1964 you had a pretty good year here.
My best year in the minor leagues is when I make it to the big leagues.
And right before you got called up to the big leagues,
Right.
you spent some time here in San Diego. You were, of course, the old Padres, which at the time was the AAA affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you just tore it up. What were your stats that year?
Well, I think I remember I lead the league in hitting and RBIs, but I got too short of AAA crown because somebody beat me for about two home runs. But I had a great year, and I come out to Cincinnati, and then when they called me, I played there for a while. I was there, but I think about 20-some days, and they sent me back, and then we win everything. We win everything, and then I back, and now when they call the players in September.
Well, speaking of winning everything, I was going to talk about who signed you originally for the Reds, because he's going back a long time. Great man. We'll get to him in a minute, but the years that you spent as a Cincinnati Red are commonly known today as the Big Red Machine.
Right.
It's amazing to me that from 1970 to 1976, there were only two other people that won an MVP award that wasn't in a Reds uniform. And that was probably one of the main reasons you were never the National League Most Valuable Player Award, because you were getting beat out by Bench and Joe Morgan all the time.
Yeah, well, that happens, but if we went to playoffs and World Series. That's what I want. So, when you MVP, it's a little extra. You got a great year. You win for your team, and then for you get the most MVP. It's good. It's more important, and you feel much better. It's from your own team, with your same team. And one time when Bench win the MVP, I came second, third. I think I came third. Billy Williams was going to be second, but to me it was a great year all around.
That was a stupid good year that you had in 1970 when Bench won the Most Valuable Player Award. And you're right, you did come in third because Billy Williams had an unbelievable year for the Chicago Cubs and hit a lot of home runs, hit right around 300. And even though most of the time they tend to go with guys that are playing on winning ball clubs, it didn't matter because Bench got twice as many votes as you guys did. I was surprised it wasn't closer. But then you're alongside Joe Morgan, who wins the Most Valuable Player Award. Not too many guys do this, as you well know, but he wins it 2 years in a row. When you guys won the World Championship in 75 and 76.
Oh yeah, I was so proud of that little man. The way he did that, and the way he played the game, and the way he played. I mean, he did everything for us. He hit for power. He got on base. He steal bases. He did them all. He did them all, and he deserved to be wise those 2 years on the road because the Little Joe was a tremendous player, and I am still missing him a lot.
I miss him a lot. I miss Joe a lot. We hung around a lot together after we both retired. In honor of you and Tony Pacheco, who we were just talking about, the guy that signed you, I'm going to change hats here for a minute. A hat that I put on anytime I want to think of Miami or Havana.
You got the Panama there.
And put on my little hat. And let's talk about your first plane ride to Miami when the Reds signed you. And I read somewhere, and you and I have never talked about this before. Was your signing bonus actually the cost of the visa?
Yeah, I got a signing bonus. Yeah, I got a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I got $2.50 for my visa coming out of Cuba and go to spring training and play baseball. That was great. To me, it was great. I really did it. To me, and when I go to play baseball, it was great. I can come back and when I came back to Cuba, I helped my family. I made my mother and my family, a little better because I was making money. That's all.
Well, there weren't too many Cuban ball players before you that came out of Cuba that played in the major leagues.
Oh yeah, there was a lot. Yeah, we got a lot of players at that time. Yeah, we got a lot of players. If you go around, you can see you got Mini Minoso, and Mini Minoso, and you got Camilo Pascual, you got Pete Ramos, you got Versailles, you got Tony Oliva, you got a lot of players because they're coming before me because we got a good league and winter ball in Cuba, like in Puerto Rico, and those players play over there. And I was very fan. I was a fan, growing up to all those guys.
Let's talk about your time in Miami, where you still are. It puts you much closer to Cuba and Puerto Rico living in Miami.
Right, very close.
So that's a good thing. Oh, incidentally, your stats in '64 with the Padres were 309 with 34 home runs and 107 RBIs.
Right.
That's a pretty good year.
You think so?
So Tony Pacheco was he was all over the place. I'm surprised that because he started working for Houston right after.
Right.
He signed you and a couple of other players.
Well, he signed two players. Before he passed away, he signed two players that he was so proud of. It was Cesar Cedeno and myself. Both make it to the big leagues, and one make the Hall of Fame. I mean, Tony was a great scout. He knows the game, and he knows how to help you.
Cesar Cedeno.
Yep.
That's a name from the past. Boy, the Houston Astros had some pretty good talent in their minor league system. I had Daryl Cheney on. We got people coming on, Joe. I had Daryl Cheney on last week. We had a lot of people making comments and everything. And Daryl wanted to make sure that I said hello to you.
Oh, yeah. Daryl was great. I mean, great baseball man, I tell you.
He was a good guy. Hung around a long time. Could pick it, as they say.
Yeah, you can pick it. Yeah, right.
Let's go back to 2017, probably some of the most disappointing time ever in your career. And I know we all know that certain moves that management makes are part of the game, but Derek Jeter takes over and really hadn't even taken over yet. And he gets David Sampson to call you, McKeon, Jeff Conine, who's one of the more popular players in the history of the Marlin franchise, and Andre Dawson, another Hall of Famer.
Right.
And tells them that they're not going to be in the same capacity. Tells you that you're not going to be in the same capacity as you were before. You have been with that organization for a long time. What is your thought process when you get a phone call like that? And then
Well, really,
Jeter turns around. Does he turn around later on in a couple of weeks after a lot of probably public pressure and call you guys back and talk to you about rejoining the organization?
no, well, he did. He did call us back. He did call us back, and Andre and myself, and he invited us to lunch. He explained to us what happened, because the only thing is I was Andre and myself didn't like is the way he did it. It was, he didn't call us at the time and tell us by phone or whatever, or call us on the at the ballpark and tell us we're going to be, things going to be like used to be before. And then I had to learn about, because David Sampson called us. Dave Sampson called us, and he was the one who give us the news, because he don't want us to hear on the news. And that's the only way, that's the only thing, because things happen in baseball. You get signed and you get released. I mean, you get fired or whatever. But for you call me and tell us, it's a bit different. And that's what we talk about it. And we had lunch, and he explained that. He said he was new, and he was new on the job, and he don't know, and he was a little late calling. When he called us, it was too late because Samson called us first. But we come out of that, and everything was okay. We don't have no problems, and that was it.
So everything's cool now.
Oh yeah, everything is cool.
Because Jeter's gone.
Well, it wasn't my decision. It was his decision.
Oh boy. Well, the years with the Reds were very influential to me. I was a young kid coming up through the minor league system, and being surrounded by you guys had a lasting impact on me that has turned baseball relationships into friendships. With you, I was very close to Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, and myself, Pete, of course. Boy, you were surrounded by some great players for a long period of time. And you got a great team.
We got a great team, man. I tell you what, I met Pete Rose in 1960. My first year in baseball and his first year in baseball. And since then, we be friends. We were teammates, and we are still friends, and we are still like a brothers. I mean, that's the way we feel about each other. That's the way it's gonna be until we just go. That's what happened.
So I know you're just recently removed from the game, but what are your feelings the way the game has progressed and the shifts, the way they really put such a reliance on the players, the pitchers in the bullpen, and having bullpen games opposed to starting pitchers going the distance and things like that? Do you have any personal feelings about that?
Let me tell you this. I still watch the game every night. Every day I watch baseball game. I still love the game, and that's what I do every day. But I knew the baseball has changed. The game has changed. They got a lot of different rules right now, and we used to not have. Like the collision of the play, and the blocking, and this breaking the double play. Dirty, you used to love that because you used to get dirty. You want your uniforms to get dirty. And I remember how you go on a double play up to 2 seconds. And that's part of the game. That's what we used to do. But now you cannot do that. And to me, like I say, I know it's a great players over there, great shortstop, great second baseman. But anybody can play shortstop and anybody can play second baseman now, making double plays because you don't have to worry about your runner, and that's a bit different. And for catcher the same way, but that's the what the game has changed, and they're going to make it better for the people to watch, for everybody feel comfortable. Hey, I agree. I change it. I mean, I have to take it because that's the way they play the game, and everybody be different. Everything being progressive and stuff like that.
You know, it's very interesting that you put it that way, and where you started off your statement saying, "I still watch the game every single day."
Oh, yeah. Every day.
You know, it's hard to turn your back on a game that you devoted your entire life to, as much as you might disagree with a lot of things that are going on. And I think that was well put, Tony. And Marshall Moore, thank you for putting me in the same class as Tony Perez. I'm going with the Havana hat here for my good brother Tony, and I'm so happy to hear Patuca had her knee surgery and everything's cool.
Yeah, everything's fine.
They're doing a lot of good things with that now.
Oh yeah, she can move around. She like to walk fast, and now she's doing that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You can't keep up with her now.
No, right now I have to follow.
Well, I promise next time I get down to Miami, we're going to get together.
Let me know, man. You got my number.
Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate your time. Oh,
there you go, man.
Thank you, Joe. Now look at this. Look at this. We were looking to get a picture to throw up on the screen during our interview. Do you see what it says on the bottom of that picture?
Oh, man. Oh,
now, for everybody out there, this is not a young Tony Perez. This is not a young Tony Perez. This is Davey Concepcion. But when we went on to look for a stock photo of Tony, these people at bestsportsphotos.com were selling this picture of Dave Concepcion as Tony Perez.
Oh my goodness! Come on, Kurt.
I know.
When I started, I looked that way because I was 160 pounds too, just like that.
I know. It's so Davey was only like 145, 150 pounds when he first came.
Yeah, well, that's my little brother. That's my little brother. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, Tony, I'm going to let you go. Please say hello to Patuca for me. And we'll talk to you soon, brother. Thank you again. I love you.
Okay, Kurt. Anytime, man. Take care.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Tony Perez, everybody. I'm keeping his hat on. You know why? For one thing, I like it. And for another thing, I love that guy. I mean, you can't beat that guy. He was such a great player. And if you wanted runs driven in, they don't put a lot of merit on RBI anymore. RBIs, runs batted ins. They had to change that. But let me tell you another change that took place in the game within the last couple of days that would have never happened 10, 15, 25 years ago. Ozzie Albies, the world champion Braves, Marcell Ozuna are on second and third. Albies on second, Ozuna on third. In a game a couple of days ago, I think it was Friday night against the Rangers. They're leading 6-2 in the seventh inning. The Ranger pitcher throws ball four to the hitter. Can't even remember who it was, doesn't matter, to walk him. and the ball gets past the catcher and goes to the backstop. It goes back to the backstop, and it was one of those where it almost bounced right back to the catcher. Naturally, Osuna and Albies start to go and had to retreat. For some reason, Albies starts getting on Osuna for not returning to the base quick enough or for not going in the first place. Nobody ever got the story because evidently these two guys are tight. Albies, in the middle of the game, went over and started doing hand gestures and showing up Marcell Osuna. This is where the respect things come into play. And all of us talking about and seeing and hearing about the unwritten rules of baseball, they're not really rules. They're little things like this. You don't show up your teammate. That's respect. Ozzie Albies disrespected Marcell Osuna, whether he made a bad base running play or not. Because he literally went from second base over to third, was going through the whole deal with Ron Washington, the third base coach, on where Osuna should have been and why he didn't go there. You see him putting up his arms. It was terrible. And I'll tell you what else is terrible. Check this out. I'm going to have Joe throw up a video of, this is a college game, because the initial video that came out of the minor league game where the umpire called the hitter out for the 9-second rule, and I will let you know what the 9-second rule is. Here is a college game where you've got a University of Florida hitter up to the plate against what looks might be Clemson. So here's the play. Go ahead, Joe, run it. All right, he takes a strike. He might not have liked the call very much. He steps out. He's getting back in the box. The umpire's telling him to get back in the box. He didn't get back in the box quick enough as far as the umpire's concerned. And what's he do? He calls him out. He called a strike and called him out. Well, guess what? In professional baseball, that rule was just implemented this year in the minor leagues, along with a couple of other ones. The bigger bases, we all know about that. But in the minor leagues, and this is actually working, by the way, but that is uncalled for. And it was really uncalled for the umpire calling out the guy in pro ball, and I think it was a AAA game, because he took much less time than this kid getting back in the batter's box. When no one is on base, the pitcher has 14 seconds to throw the baseball. With runners on, that inches up to 18 seconds. If a pitcher fails to throw a ball within that time, he's assessed the ball by the umpire. I don't know how the umpire's keeping track of 14, 18 seconds, and also 9, because that's the amount of time that a hitter has to get back into the box. 9 seconds left on the pitch clock. If he's not back in the box, he's assessed strike, which is what we just saw. So if the pitcher has 14 seconds and the hitter has to get back in with 9, I don't get it. If he's got 14 seconds, why can't the hitter get back in 7? That's half the amount of time. Or why do they have to call it when it's that close, bang, bang, anyway? I don't know the answer to that, but I will tell you this. In over 140 minor league games this season, there's been a 20 minute decrease in a time of games. That's not a coincidence. Not at all. And let me tell you, speaking of games, how about the one today? Cardinals won, Royals nothing. 9 innings, 2 hours and 40 minutes. You know, that's not a crazy time frame. Back in the day, it was kind of an extended game. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Steven Matz against Zach Greinke. Cardinals beat the Royals 1-0 today. The other game that's finished was the White Sox over the Angels, 3-0. I think Kyle Lundy just asked, are you talking about, Kyle, you must be talking about the numbers on 14 seconds and extending it to 18 if they're running by. You know, the powers that be, buddy. The powers that be. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. I know we talked to Tony about, I'm going to get to the card in a minute. Well, you know what? We can give you guys time to, Joe, I know you probably remember this. Last show, I was on with Daryl Cheney from the Big Red Machine, coincidentally, and also the Atlanta Braves, and who is spent years and years and years on the board of directors of the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association. And he told us that opening day of 1972, Bob Housen, who was the general manager of the Cincinnati Reds at that time, came up to Daryl and asked him to do something. If you can tell me what Daryl told us that Bob Housen asked him to do, you'll be the proud owner of a $100 gas card presented by Dirty Kurt's Dugout and also our good friend Tom Drake at Lacima Oil and Balboa Chevron on the corner of Balboa and Genesee. And don't forget, come and join me at Hacienda Casablanca on Thursday evening, Cinco de Mayo. I'm going to be down there along with Laguna, the rock band, and the original Santana tribute band, Viva Santana. We're going to have a great time. Good food. Daryl Cheney, look. He put, can I play? No. That's funny, though. Good one, D. I like it. Cross the line and play is a good guess, Kyle, but it's wrong. So Jimmy Driscoll, former Major League player, and he's close also, but it's actually not the right answer. I can't give away any clues, or else I'll just give it away. I will just give it away. I'm sure you all heard about the first Major League player that has signed a deal with a sports book. Yep, that's what we've come to. I know Daryl and I touched on it last week because we talked about an incident that happened with Wayne Simpson of the Big Red Machine early in the 70s, where he was approached by supposedly criminals and asked to throw fat pitches to the middle of the Pirate lineup, of which that's the last thing he wanted to do. He came to the Reds organization and told them about it, told them about the contact that was made with him. And lo and behold, what happens in the 6th inning of a game which, by the way, Wayne Simpson was dominating from what I can remember. And he hung up slider, which happens every game if you watch games on television. And it just so happened it was Bob Robertson, middle of the Pirates lineup, and he hit it in the upper deck in Riverfront. And Wayne Simpson went back, and Darryl could neither put a check mark by this or deny it, but I could. And he went back to his hotel room that night, and there was an envelope just about all the way underneath his door. A little piece of it was sticking out to where if you looked really hard, you could see it. And if you remember at that time, I mean, there must have been an inch and a half. They could almost slide your room service tray underneath the door with the amount of space that was in the door jamb between the floor and the door back then. But somebody had slid an envelope underneath there with 20 $100 bills, naturally equaling $2,000. And that was that. Wayne gave the money up to the FBI, and I never heard anything about it again. The same thing happened a couple of years later when I was with the Milwaukee Brewers with a pitcher that we had by the name of Billy Travers. So that stuff goes on. I'm not saying it's going to go on with Charlie Blackmon, but he signed a deal with a Maximum Bet, who happens to be a Colorado-based sports betting company. And I don't know what the terms of it are. Naturally, Charlie Blackmon can't bet on baseball, but he is associated with bookies. Time to put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. So, out of all the listeners and viewers, I'm going to give it another minute or two, because I see Mark asked, am I okay with stealing and bunting with big leads in the late innings? That's the question flashed across your screen right now. What did Bob Howsam, the general manager of the Reds, asked Darryl Chaney to do on opening day 1972? Mark, I talked about the Ozzie Albies and Marcell Ozuna thing where he disrespected the player. This is about respect. And when you have a big lead, it was viewed as being disrespectful by rubbing the other team's face in it. If the second base or the first baseman is playing a little bit behind the runner at first base, when you're leading the game by 8 runs in the 8th inning, the team that you're playing again is not thinking that you're going to be stealing second base and rubbing your face in it. But nowadays, as we've seen by Gabe Kapler of the San Francisco Giants, they're doing it proudly, And he's telling his players to do it. And their excuse or reasoning is that they want pitchers that are thrown against them to throw as many pitches as they possibly can. Therefore, running up their pitch count and either getting them out of the game or having them to where they can't be used the next day. Okay. He makes sense when he puts it in that term, but you've done your job by getting pitchers to throw a lot of extra pitches and putting them in positions to where they can't pitch the next day by scoring 10 or 15 runs off a team. Putting yourself in a position to score a couple of more, I don't like it at all. So the answer is no, I don't like it. And it's going to cause trouble. Teams are going to remember it, and you'll see it the second time around. Mark my word. All right. Kyle, even though it's not exactly what Bob Housen said to Darrell Chaney, you are so much in the vicinity that I'm going to give it to you. So Kyle Lundy is this month's winner of the Chevron gas card. And if you will pass on your information to producer Joe, the actual thing that Bob Housen said to Darrell, because Darrell was the Reds player rep at the time, and it was the first strike in Major League Baseball history. And Bob Housen actually went up the first day of the strike, which was the last couple of days of spring training, and said, you can do something that can change baseball going forward. Get 8 other guys and take the field. So even though it wasn't in the strike, which he didn't say anything about the strike. He just said, get 8 other guys and short of crossing the line, which I know Jimmy made reference to earlier. But that's basically what they asked us to do. Darrell thought he was going to get released when he refused. Because he said, Mr. Housen, I can't do. I tell you what, for Darrell Chaney to have the guts to tell Bob Housen that he couldn't do that, or anything that Bob Housen asked, to me, that's pretty cool. I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have walked away. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to be a player rep, because get my ass released real quick in a position that I was in. And we started to talk about this earlier real quick before I go. And I know a lot of you are without baseball today, but there's a lot of exciting baseball going on, highlighted by the Mets Braves game tonight that you'll see on MLB Network. Boy, the Mets are playing good baseball. They really are. They've got the best record in baseball, more wins than anybody. And there's some good stuff going on. You got the Angels leading in the Western Division. You got Twins in the Central and the Yankees in the East. And in the National League, it's the Dodgers and Padres. Yeah, I said that. Dodgers are maybe 5 to 7 100ths of a percentage point in front of the Padres in the West. And then you've got the Brewers in the Central, and the Mets in the East. And I want to point out the Astros, because they're only 3.5 games out right now. And 16 of the 22 games that they've played have been on the road. You know how well they play back at that little bandbox they call home. So look for them to kind of close the gap when they get back to Minute Maid Park. So, yeah, the Mets do have the players with the most hit by pitches. We're going to get into that a little bit next week, along with what's going on with the baseball. I'm going to give it another week so that there's a full month underneath everybody going in and seeing what the scoop is. So we will talk about that. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Hacienda Casablanca, Tony and Cindy. We'll be out there. When I say we, I'm talking about producer Joe and I. We'll be out there on Thursday night for Cinco de Mayo, along with the Corona Girls. And I know Tom Drake's going to come out. Well, I don't really know that, but I'm calling him out right now. So he comes out. Of course, Tom is the president of Lacima Oil, and he is the one that provides us with our Chevron gift cards. We're going to have great music by Laguna and also Viva Santana. And we're going to have a great time. And also the good food that Tony and Cindy serve up on a daily basis. 700 North Johnson. Write it down, or just remember Hacienda Casablanca. Google it, put it in the map, and we'll see you out there. Joe, what time are we going out? I got to ask you because
it's 5 o'clock. We're going to be there about 5.
5 o'clock.
Yep.
Be there, be square.
And I'm getting the bike.
Cinco de Mayo. What were you going to say, Joe?
I'm getting the bike.
Oh, you are? Yeah, you look real good driving that around. It's got a Pacifico sign on it, so I hope they have something to do with it. If you get the bike,
takes a lot less gas too.
There you go. That's for sure. That's for sure. And if you're wondering, the background in that picture right there is Hacienda Casablanca. So come out and join us. We're going to have a great time. Thank you, Joe, for today. And thank you for y'all for tuning in. And we will see you next time. And incidentally, go on to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That'll really help us in going forward with the show and giving us the reach and everything that we need. So thanks again. My hat, Tony Pacheco and Tony Perez. We'll see you next time, gang. Take care.